Hello everybody and welcome back to another Halo editing tutorial, and today we're going to be talking about how to get AI to follow you. And we're also going to be doing our first little bit of scripting. I'm not going to go into it very much because there's already going to be enough talking in this, and it's not complicated for me, but explaining it is a pain in the ass because you have to explain like 5 different things for each one thing, so it's like Jesus. But I'm pretty much just gonna copy the script into the description of this video, and then I'll go through it a little bit in this. But primarily, we're gonna focus on the things you need to build in Sapien to allow the scripting to work. So we will go delete everything. We're gonna be talking about triggers too. But yeah, I'll just I'll rebuild that entire scenario I just had right there, and I guess talk through it. So first things first, you need guys. You need guys to follow you, and we're gonna be setting it to player. I'm making this is a single player map, mission, whatever you want to call it. So we gotta set the team to player, otherwise they're gonna be hostile. Then you make your squad like normal, and then yeah, you just place how many guys you want. Let's do 3. And I think they only follow you if they're Marines. I don't think the Covenant or anything else follows you, but I'll check that because I might have screwed it up way earlier when I was doing it before. If you have your guys on any of the kind of board states, like alert or any of the movings or sleeping, they're not gonna follow you right away. You're gonna have to wake them up. But if they're on guarding at guard position, or searching, they should follow you right away, and you won't have to do anything. And then for the attacking guard is what they use for follow, which there is no actual follow state. They're basically moving from firing position to firing position, or set. Whenever I say firing positions, just put set in front of it because that's how this works. So they're moving from firing position to firing position, but they're staying in these states, but they're moving because they're in these states. So for the initial squad, you only want to put the first one. So you only want to put A. And check automatic migration. That's how they move between squads, because that's basically how following works. They don't actually follow you. They move to the closest firing positions to the player, or to the object they're following, which is why you only want one firing position set for attacking guard, because if you have A, B, they could just immediately go to either A or B. They're not gonna follow you to B. So that's how that works. And that should be all the guys set, the 3 number. Oh, we need to place the starting positions. So we'll do 3 starting positions, and then we'll place all of the firing positions. So as you saw, the first one is A. So where you want your guys to first start, probably should just start with A. Although, again, that automatic migration thing, that will allow them to move between any of the squads we're going to create, which is tied to each set of firing positions. So you could start them pretty far away, and then as soon as they're set to follow you, and you get close enough to a set of firing positions, they'll just move there. Or they'll just move. You could stand still, script them to follow you, and they'll just move to the closest ones. So if I spawn these guys way the fuck over here, and I'm standing right here, they'll just move to these as soon as they're set to follow me, because they're the closest ones to me. But yeah, we're just gonna, I'm gonna go probably to G, I think. Just create a whole bunch of... firing positions. And you want it to be like a little square of firing positions, I guess. After I'm done placing all of these, I'll go select all of them so you can see all the separate colors and how they're kind of laid out. But you want it to kind of be like a little strip of this, a little strip of that, you know. Just switch letters each little bit, basically. So we are on D right now. We'll place another one. And we'll finish with F. Or no, that's E. E and F in this look the same because the very bottom is cut off. But there we go. We got all our positions set, and when we go to firing positions, look at that. So we got A, B, C, D, and E. So what's gonna happen once everything is scripted and set up? When the player moves, I guess when the player is near a majority of the next color, that's when the AI will migrate to the squad that's designated to that color, which will give the effect of them following you. And they'll basically do that wherever you move. We can move all the way up and down this, and they'll just follow me back and forth and back and forth. But we're also gonna script them to stop following too, because if you're making a mission, you probably don't want the AI following you throughout the entire thing. But, you know, if you do, then you don't need to do the second trigger. But yeah, there we go. That's all the sets of firing positions. So we went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we went all the way to E. So now back in here, as you can see, for the first squad, you only set this to A. So that's only covering those. So now we need to make a squad for each firing position after that. So we need to do B, C, D, and E. So B, C, D, and E. And for each one of these, you want to put you want to name it, probably want to name it your whatever firing position it correlates to, and then put that same letter in the attacking guard, turn on automatic migration, and you just do that for each one. And I guess I'll just put Z's in the rest of these just so there's no possibility of them using anything else. So we'll do C now. See there. And you don't need to put any units in this. You don't need to set the actor, you don't need to set the amount of guys that'll spawn, because the guys that are already spawned, these are the guys that are shifting between squads. These are the things that are migrating, these guys. So you only need to spawn the group of guys once. So that is always remember to turn on automatic migration, because they can migrate. If you have this off, they can migrate to this squad, but they can't migrate out of it, I think. Yeah, that'll just cause problems. D. And if you have your guys start in a defending state, which I think I covered defending and attacking states in the platoons video, then I think they would just use the defending guard, but they're an attacking state by default, so they use attacking guard. D, and now E. There we go. And now make sure automatic migration is on. So yeah, automatic migration just refers to actors switching squads or switching encounters. That's what migration means. It's pretty similar to maneuver. It's very maneuver and migrate are very similar. There's a whole scripting website I found for this. There is a difference between migrate and maneuver, but it's not. I don't have it out the top of my head right now. But there we go. That's all of the firing positions set up, and that's all the squads that correlate to the firing positions set up, so that the AI can only use one set at a time to follow you. So now that all that's set up, now we have to set up our triggers. That should be everything in this. So now we set up our triggers, which are under the game data tab, and then it's the first folder, the trigger volumes. And now you wanna create a start trigger, you wanna create a follow trigger, and then an unfollow trigger, pretty much. So we'll do the follow trigger right here. Our spawn point is right here, so we're gonna walk down this. We're gonna walk into this trigger, which is gonna trigger them to start following me. Then we're done with that. Be careful when you're messing around with selecting triggers and renaming and selecting new ones. It gets really, really wonky really easily. And we want to name this to unfollow. And as of right now, these triggers do nothing. You have to script these triggers to do something, which is, yeah, where the scripting comes in. And as if you go, it's a little wonky. Sometimes the trigger will just completely disappear on you if you move a face too far outside of the of the world, but oh yeah, you play yeah, you place these just like anything else. You can click on any face and just manipulate it. Oh, see, what the hell? Yeah, it just disappeared. Yeah, just these triggers are wonky as hell. Just I guess be careful with them. But there you go. You got your follow trigger and your unfollow trigger, and you also got this little red thing right here. That is basically, that's just letting you know that the gray thing right here, it's just letting you know that it's outside of the map. So it's not an error. Nothing went wrong. It's just something is outside of the map. So don't worry about that. So there you go. We got our firing positions. We got our squads. We got our guys spawned. And we got our triggers. So that should be everything you need to set up the scripting. And now I'm gonna cover the scripting, which you actually have to create an entire new folder in your main directory for that. So we will go do that quick. Oh yeah, I downloaded all the Halo scripts for the campaign missions to figure this shit out. Halo Custom Edition. So go to your root folder. So, to create a script, it's gonna be the exact same directory that you use to get you to your map. So it's gonna be like tags, levels, and then for me it's test, and then we got our Bob Infinity map right here. Except it's not in tags, it's in data. So data, levels, test, and then your map name. So you just create the exact same directory. Except instead of starting in tags, you start in data, then just create the exact same directory. If you don't have the folders, create the folder, name it exactly the same, and then like even the map name, create the map folder, and then just do that. And then when you go into your map folder, you want to create one more folder called scripts, just like this, named just like this. Then you do that, and then script folders are .hsc files. And you can't really create those out of the blue. So the way you do that is you just open the script. You create. I'll just do it. Do I really want to delete that whole thing? No, I don't. To create a new HSC file, you just create a text file, a new text document, and you name it scripts the same exact way as the folder's name. Scripts, and we'll just name the scripts one since I'm gonna create the HSC and it's gonna override and I don't want it to. So scripts 1. And then you reopen the txt file. Then you go to File, Save As, and then when you save as, you go to File type down here. You select all files. Then you take off the extension and do HSC, and now it'll create an entire new HSC file, which is the script file. So now it'll read it. That's how you create your script file. Now, all right, there's probably going to be an awkward as fuck cut in here because I think I just need to type this stuff out. I can't explain it. I can't, like, just have it there and talk through it. I can't explain it. I don't know how. So, I'm just going to go through top to bottom what you're supposed to script. So, the very first thing you need to do is define the player as an object for a trigger to pick up. So, the way you do that is you do a script static command. Script static. And then you do unit, so you're defining a unit, which is going to be the player, and you're defining player 0. This is what you're defining. And then we'll create the end right there. And then the way you define that is you do a command under this unit space list get players. That is the general list of objects. And then you end that, and then you add a 0, which is the specifying the player. So what this does, it specifies player 1. It specifies player 1 as an object. And in the campaign scripts, they do this, which specifies player 2. So player 1 and player 2. But we only have 1. So we'll just leave it at 0. And now for I have a dormant script, but I'll just do the most basic version. So now we want just a basic startup script, something that's going to happen as soon as you load up. So script startup, and then you give it a name. We'll call this base And now you get to the actual scripting. So basically what we need to script is as soon as the player walks into the follow trigger, that needs to trigger the AI to start following you. And then when we walk into the unfollow trigger, that triggers the AI to stop following. So the way we do that is we just have the command, we have the script pause until we walk in, and then we have a command under it that triggers the AI to follow, and then we sleep again until we unfollow, and then a command under that which tells the AI to stop following. So how that goes, how the player walking into the first trigger goes, is you start your you just want it like this. So there's a start right here to the script and an end right here, and then you go in between. So sleep until, and then right here. That's what this is gonna do. It's just gonna check endlessly. Well, actually, right now it's not gonna check anything. But once we put stuff in here, it's gonna sleep, and then it's gonna check every game tick. So this number right here means every game tick. So you could put 15. So it's gonna check every 15 game ticks. But we'll just have it 1, so it's really fast. And then we do another command in here. We do volume test object. You can do object or objects. We'll get to the difference later. I'll do object right now. And what this is saying is the volume, which is the trigger volume. So the trigger is testing for objects. And then you specify the trigger, so follow trigger, the exact name we put right here. So follow trigger. So the follow trigger is testing for objects to enter it. And now we have to specify the object, which is going to be player 0. So there we go, just like that. So this script is going to sleep until the follow trigger, until player 0 goes into the follow trigger. And the follow trigger is going to be checking every one game tick for that player. That's what this is. All right. So now, once that happens, once the script keeps running, then we do AI follow target players. AI follow target players. And now, then you do a space, and you have to specify what follows it. And we named our encounter followers. And there's a way to specify for individual squads and individual platoons, but I'll get to that in different scripting videos. So, yeah, right here, followers. So that is the encounter. That is this encounter of AI that's going to be following us. So now, if we were to run this, it would work. We would spawn in, we'd walk down into this trigger, and then the AI would follow us up and down all of these firing positions forever. But we also want them to stop following us when we get to this trigger right here. So to do that, you basically just copy this command. You do that. Then you add the name of the unfollow trigger. And then you copy this command, and instead of having players, you disable the following of followers of that encounter. So now we'll go in here. They'll follow me all the way down here and all the way back and forth until I get into this trigger, and then that'll disable their following. And then they'll probably just hang out at F because they'll probably be right behind me, following me. But if they're like caught way back somewhere, they might use those firing positions. But once that happens, then they'll just go back to their initial states, or their return state of just searching. So there we go. And well, let's see if it actually works. So we to compile a script, you have to compile it in Sapien first. So to do that, you do Control-Shift-C. Hit all three at once. Or you Control-Shift and C. And I fucked it up. Not a valid script or name. Oh, ha! I have to put an S right here. Players. Players. That's the object group. Okay, yeah. Yeah, so the entire object group is players, and then you get then you specify the player right there. Yeah, tiniest mistake. Man, fuck my fucking life. Oh, Jesus Christ. And I put an extra fucking thing there. There we go. Script successfully compiled. Yeah, I put one too many parentheses there. Yeah, this one, if I put that one under there. Now, yeah, okay. So yeah, be careful. The tiniest one mistake is gonna have you ripping your fucking hair out sometimes. So be careful and take your time. But there we go. And, like I said earlier, you can have, if you put an S in here, one S, see what I mean? One S, objects, and now, what the fuck? Oh. Oh, okay. So if I do object, and then I do players, that will not work. Yeah, that won't work. But if you do that, then basically, objects and then players, what this means is any player that's defined up here can trigger this. But if you do object and then player 0, the only thing that can trigger this is player 0. So that's just how that works. But there we go. That's that. I don't think I fucked it up too bad. Hopefully. Again, if you're fucking having trouble, you can just copy it in the description. I'll paste it there, and that will just be the most rudimentary scripting thing. The most rudimentary script to get guys to follow you. But now we'll recompile it. Save. You always want to save after you compile. And now we compile the map. And now it's time for the demonstration. Oh, what are we at? 10 minutes? Okay, that's not... Oh, yeah, this is the second half of the video. That's right. Jesus. Yeah, I fucked up the first half. Well, I fucked up the second half and had to redo it. There we go. So now they will not follow me because I didn't trigger them. And they'll just... How the hell did I get a shotgunner in 2 of those? Oh, yeah, well, they're searching right now at A, because I didn't walk into the trigger zone yet. And I guess the shotgun marine, they can have armor or no armor. Just realized that. So now, we hit the trigger, and I am closest to A, so they're just gonna stay here and search. But, if I start to move, they will move up with me to B, and then to C, and then D, and it'll follow me all the way back to A if I go back there. So yeah, they just follow you around. And after this, I'm going to test if it works with the Covenant, because that'd be cool if you could have a bunch of elites following you around. But I tried it out one time, and it didn't seem to work. But it's very, very possible that I could have screwed it up. So, yeah. But I don't see why elites would not be able to follow you. I don't. They're all actors. I don't see why they wouldn't be able to follow. Now we're approaching the unfollow trigger. We walk up a little ways. I think we tripped it. Yep, and they're just searching now because they're set in searching and they're set at F. And now they're gonna stay at F because we disabled their following when we walked into that trigger. Just like that. So, there we go. Finally got this done. It was definitely hard to explain, especially that scripting stuff. There's like, you know, one thing leads to another, leads to 2 things, leads to 3 more things. So it's like, holy moly. But I think My brain isn't falling out of my ears right now, so I think I did good enough. And we're gonna try the elites. I don't see why they wouldn't be able to follow you. Like, regardless of which side they're on, which actor variant they're using. They're all actor variant files. And maybe in Gorilla you could edit the thingies. You could edit the variant actor variants to follow you. I don't know. I don't see why they wouldn't be able to follow. It'd be cool if you... Ah, they do follow you. Okay, so I fucked it up before. Alright, so yeah, elites. And I assume everything else can follow you as well. Floods, sentinels, grunts, jackals, hunters. So yeah. Yeah, I think what I did is I had them on alert. And on alert, they will not follow you until they hit their return. I'll just do an example. So, if I had them on alert and then searching like this, they will not start following you until they get scared or something. So if I were to shoot them, they get freaked out and then they'd go to their return state, which is searching, which allows them to move. So I think that's what I did. I think I had the elite set to alert and alert, so there was no way they would have ever followed me. So I thought then, like, oh, they can't follow, but nope, everything should be able to follow. So there we go. That is automatic migration following, a little bit of scripting, and how to start a script, where to put it, all that shit. So yeah. Hopefully that helped. Hopefully it was clear hopefully it was easy to understand. Hopefully it was clear. But yeah, I think that covers everything for the AI in general. I covered all the respawn. I covered all this stuff, I think, in the basic stuff. I covered the firing positions, the states, platoons, timers, magic sight, maneuver to squad, command lists. We covered triggers in this. Oh, that's not triggers. We covered triggers. There's flags. Flags are weird. I don't think they're probably not that weird. Camera oh, I still have all, yeah, creating cutscenes is pretty easy, but that requires scripting. I'll probably do a video on creating cutscenes, but yeah, I think I'm gonna start doing a lot of videos on scripting. I'll probably merge a whole bunch of commands together that kind of relate to each other loosely, and then just, I guess, do examples of how they work in scripting. I'm just going to get better at explaining scripting because, good lord, it just breaks my brain when I try to explain it. I can script perfectly fine, but when I try to explain, it just doesn't work. But yeah, that's going to be it for this. So, if you made it here, thank you for watching. If you watch any of my other stuff, thank you for watching that as well. And I will see you in whatever I decide to do next time. So, thank you for watching.